As a former ball and gun gamer, I think it is my responsibility to explain why these 4 games are way more interesting and have me way more excited over GTA 6. What's up, guys? Vernon is Black and Vernon is back, and today I'm going to tell you my 4 games that are coming up in this fall that I am way more excited for than GTA 6. Onimusha. Now, to be fair, Onimusha is a game that I do hear some criticisms of from people who have done some play testing for the studio for Capcom, and the concerns are, you know, they're worth mentioning. People are saying that the open world exploration is kind of lacking. The game was a little too easy during the demo, and that brings me to my first point. So I did play the demo. I didn't record it, unfortunately, but I have a friend named Hito1Player who did do a full gameplay. You can go watch that on his channel. Link will be in the description. I enjoyed it. The boss fight was challenging enough, in my opinion. I died a couple times, but once I, kind of calmed down and locked in, it wasn't that bad of a fight, but it was interesting. But I did think leading up, like, the common enemies were a bit easy to deal with. You kind of didn't have to think too hard. Now, to someone like me who really loves boss fights for games, I don't mind that too much, because the way I look at it is I can get to the boss fight quicker and I don't have to worry about these little enemies that much. But I can also understand the other side of where you would want the open world exploration and the rank and file enemies to be a bit more engaging, especially so you can learn the combat better. I think part of the reason I didn't
first try the boss
or beat the boss immediately in the demo was because I didn't really engage with the combat too much. Probably because I could just get away with swinging and healing, so they should probably lean away from that a little bit. But other than that, I am very excited for this game. I've never played a single Onimusha game. This will be my first time interacting with the franchise, with the IP, so that's exciting to me in the ever-growing quest that I have to expand my gaming palette. Another thing I saw was the Rashogan fight, the boss fight, I think from a Luke Stevens video. I saw the boss fight for that. That looked pretty fun. He had a lot of big, heavy attacks. They seem kind of slow, but they look like they hit for some decent damage. Maybe I would have to see for myself, obviously, but I think if these boss fights are good, then this game will be very interesting. Hopefully, though, they do beef up the difficulty a little bit on the open world exploration. That's probably like the biggest concern I've heard for the game, along with people saying different things like on PS5, low poly textures. I'm not really into that too much. I don't really care, especially if I'm playing it on PC. The controls felt good when I played them anyway in the demo. Pretty basic, pretty straightforward, nothing to complain about, nothing to brag about either. It was fine. I think it'll be a good game. I will say, out of the 4 games I'll be talking about, this one has the strongest argument for someone to say I would rather play Grand Theft Auto than this. It has the strongest argument because, to be fair, I don't know too much about it. There's not too much gameplay out there to my knowledge. We'll have to wait and see. I will say it is interesting that they moved the release date up. It was originally supposed to be September 25th, and now it's September 4th, the day after another game I'm very excited for that we will be discussing later. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign, because I could see it as, okay, avoid the Grand Theft Auto blast zone, as different companies have been calling it. But on the other hand, Grand Theft Auto isn't until November 19th. So if you come out September 25th, that's plenty of time for people to play your game, enjoy it, and review it honestly. So I'm not sure how to feel about that. And it also kind of lowers their window to maybe polish the game more or fine tune it a little bit more, because another game on this list actually pushed the release date back to improve on things like that. We will be talking about that game later as well. But yeah, Onimusha, I think I'm more so just very curious about it. I can see the potential in the game. I hope it lives up to it. But yeah, I don't have too strong of a case to argue in its favor. Besides the fact that Capcom has been on a really good run lately. Pragmata came out this year. That's probably a game of the year contender. Resident Evil Requiem also came out this year. From what I hear, I'm not a big Resident Evil guy, but from what I hear, that's another fantastic game that came out this year. Monster Hunter Stories, you know, Capcom released that as well. I think it's the third one. Let me check that real quick for you. Yeah, Monster Hunter Stories 3, Twisted Reflection, that came out. I've never dipped my toe into that. I'm a casual Monster Hunter fan, but I heard it's like Monster Hunter with a better story, which is an interesting concept because I've never cared about the story of Monster Hunter. I'm just gonna be honest. So, but I hear that game's pretty good too. And not to mention, Monster Hunter Wilds came out last year, which I understand the PC release did not go well and it kind of tanked that game's reputation. But I played it on PS5 and I really enjoyed it. So Capcom has been on a streak lately. Hopefully they can, and they have the Dragon's Dogma 2 DLC coming October someday. I forgot, one day in October, which I'm interested in. So hopefully Capcom can stay on this hot streak. I think they can, but we'll see when Onimusha comes out. But that's my number 4 game that I'm very excited about over Grand Theft Auto 6. Number 3, Wolverine. Yes, I am very excited for Wolverine, even though I'm not even a big comic guy, I'm not a big movie guy, I'm not a big hero person, none of that. But the game does look very fun. I think Insomniac is not getting the credit it deserves. Insomniac has been on a really good run with the games they've been releasing. I don't think people are giving them enough credit, so I want to take the time to do that before I explain what about the game I am excited for. So if we look right here, I just want to show everyone the games that Insomniac has made, not only decades ago, but even in recent memory. They really don't miss. I mean, Spyro, I don't know about you guys, but the Spyro games, that's probably my earliest game I can remember playing. Either that or like Galaga, or maybe watch my older sister play Sonic. But Spyro's definitely up there for some of the oldest memories I have playing games. These games don't really miss. Ratchet and Clank is a goated series. Resistance, I remember I always wanted to play Resistance. I didn't even know they made that until today, funny enough. Sunset Overdrive, that's another great game. I mean, I'm not familiar with Song of the Deep, so maybe people feel differently about that. The Spider-Man games, Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2, Wolverine, like, these guys really don't miss. I feel like all, if not most, of their games are either good, really good, or great. So I feel like the doubt, because I've seen this sentiment going around that Insomniac might not be as good if they don't have Spider-Man as an IP. I don't know why people think that. I really don't know. I don't even have anyway, I don't understand that. But a very good track record, and again, they've proven that they can make a hero game. Even if you want to stay on the hero point, they've proven that they can make hero games with good combat, good stories, and fun immersive worlds. So I don't know why people think it would be any different now. I remember people jumped the gun when the trailer came out because there was a lack of gore. It's come out now that there will be a gore option. I don't understand why people are complaining about this. It doesn't affect you in any way to have the option to not have gore. Like, if I play the game without gore, which I won't, I will have gore. But if I play the game without gore, that doesn't impact your single player experience with gore in any way, shape, or form. And I'm sure it has no impact on the overall story or even the combat. It'll probably be, if I had to guess, it'll probably just be the same actions, the same combat moves, but without as much blood and innards and dismemberment. Who cares? Now, I will say, in light of the recent announcement from Sony, because as of recording this, I think we're only a week after the no disc announcement from Sony, I can see people maybe wanting to take out their anger on some of these first party games, but I would counter that by saying, don't take it out on things like God of War Lafe or Marvel's Wolverine, because one, these games have discs, as Insomniac comedically announced after Rockstar made their announcement. This game does have a disc, and this game was made before that decision was made by Sony, probably. And even if it wasn't made before that, they had no knowledge of that. Insomniac plays no role in this. If we can, I think we should avoid punishing the developers for something that the publisher made a decision on. They don't have any say so in that. I mean, even other branches of Sony didn't know about this decision, but different topic for another day. So I would say don't take it out on the developers. If you really want to make Sony hurt, I know this isn't about Sony, but just a quick aside here. If you really want to make Sony hurt, take that anger you have now, keep it, bottle it up, keep killing them on Twitter, keep killing them on social media, fine, but that doesn't really matter. What really matters is when that PS6 comes out. Those sales cannot be good, because if Sony deems those sales a success, then they will deem their decision a good one. That's how you vote against them. That's how you vote against them with your wallet. But anyway, back to Wolverine though. Yeah, I think this game is going to be really good. I don't know, again, the hate around it. I don't understand it. I mean, Sony's not helping now, but even before the Sony decision, I was seeing a lot of weird, I don't know. Look, the point is, the game looks fun from what I've seen. I need to see more raw gameplay. I've seen mostly trailers, but I've seen some raw gameplay. The game looks fun. I'm more interested in that than GTA 6. I would rather run around as Wolverine, slicing people up, cutting people up, regenerating and all that, than being some guy or some woman shooting people out of a car like we've been doing for generations now with the Grand Theft Auto series. That's just me. But now we can move on to the two games that I'm really excited for this fall. Number 2, Phantom Blade Zero. Now this is a Game of the Year contender. I'm calling it now. I think this game, if it delivers on what it's looking like, and from what I'm hearing from different people who have played it behind the scenes, it is living up to that. If it does, that's a Game of the Year contender if I've ever seen one. From the trailer to the raw gameplay to the rumblings about the studio, or it's not the studio, but to the rumblings about how it's playing behind the scenes, and the fact that the studio pushed the game back closer to GTA, mind you, to polish some things up that the community had been criticizing. This is looking good. Just from a PR standpoint alone, this is looking good. But let's talk about some gameplay though. So again, I will refer to another Luke Stevens video where he said he tried Phantom Blade Zero, I think about, let me check, I think it was about a month ago. He said when he talked to the developers behind the scenes, apparently everything we've seen in trailers and tech demos and gameplay footage, everything we've seen, and apparently everything they played behind the scenes as well, is all side content. Yeah, we haven't seen anything from the main story. Which also begs the question, I wonder how long the game is then. But there's no way for me to tell. Guys, that chief disciple of the 7 stars, I think I said that right. Yeah, the chief disciple of the 7 stars, that boss fight looks insane. Like crazy. If you haven't seen it, it starts off as a gank fight. And then I probably just showed part of this fight in the clip, but I'm gonna explain it anyway. It starts off what looks like a gank fight, which it looks like a pretty balanced gank fight too, because there's a lot of enemies, but they kind of attack as a group. It's interesting, but it starts off as a gank fight, and then you fight Chief Disciple Fallen Hope or whatever it is, and that's another fight. And then when you get far enough in that fight, another boss named Red Wraith, who you fought earlier, comes back, and then it becomes a duo fight. Guys, I've never heard of nothing like that. I've never heard of nothing like that. If you guys have heard of games that have done a fight that's that dynamic as far as gank to solo to duo, please leave it down in the comment section below. I'm very curious. I will look up gameplay of it, of whatever game you said did that, because if that's how that fight works, like how it looked in the gameplay demonstration, that's an unprecedented fight. And it looked good too. It didn't look annoying, it didn't look broken, it looked fun. This game and the #1 game, which you guys can probably tell what it's gonna be, but gonna blow up crazy. I'm confident that's a game of the year contender, as well as probably the #1 choice. Hopefully the #1 choice will be. The combat looks very addicting, I will say. It looks addicting, it looks dynamic, it looks like you don't run out of moves very quickly, like a lot of variety to what you can do. The parry mechanic has different animations from what it looks like depending on the enemy. That's really, ooh, that sounds so cool. There's a bow. The bow looks like it might operate off of like energy or some sort of other, not consumable, but some sort of other, we'll just call it energy for now. Kind of like if you played first Berserker Kazan, the spirit launcher that you have, it looks similar to that. It kind of reminded me of that, or maybe even Crimson Desert with the bow in there, but the arrows are limited, so might be a little different, but definitely like the Kazan ability is what it reminds me of with that bow. That looks very interesting. S-Game, the studio that made this game or is making this game, you know, it's got, I didn't know this. I looked into S-Game, and it's got some interesting tenure behind it. So it published this game, Rainblood Mirage. I've never heard of it personally, but it's called Rainblood Mirage. And apparently when that game came out on Steam, it was one of the first Chinese indie games to be put on the storefront, which is interesting. And I didn't know there were other Phantom Blade games that are already out. They're all on mobile, so I won't be playing them, but interesting to know. So maybe there's like lore tie-ins here. Maybe there's like a predecessor to the stories in those games, because this is Phantom Blade Zero, and I'm thinking with my anime brain. Usually Zero means it came before. I feel like it's worth mentioning. Recently there has been, you know, in the past few years, there has been a takeover of Eastern developers making premium games. Black Myth Wukong being the biggest example that I can think of. There's been an influx of that, and I think this will be another notch in the belt for Eastern studios. I think this game is going to be insane. I think it might even be the best game I play this fall. It might end up being the best game I play this year, even over the #1 choice. Because the #1 choice, even though I'm the most excited for it, there are some things with it that could derail it. So let's just get right into it. What's the #1 choice? The #1 game I am most excited for over GTA 6. Yes, you guessed it. It is the Blood of Dawnwalker. Now, I'm not going to go on too long about this because I have already kind of explained twice now in these two videos. I've explained twice now why I'm so excited for this game, but why not make it 3 times? So, again, the time mechanic. And this is the thing I was referring to that could make or break this game. The time mechanic, I'm excited for it. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be punishing in a good way, but it will add stress, and it depends on how the community will feel about that stress. But the community's feelings on the stress will come from how the mechanic is implemented. So as long as they implement it properly, which I think they will, it'll be, it could actually make the game a game of the year contender in and of itself if that part is executed properly, since that's probably the biggest question mark around the game. The combat doesn't have to be great. I mean, listen guys, we all know that people are saying that this is the Witcher spiritual successor, which I could see that maybe. The Witcher 4, even though we have a Witcher 4 coming out, they're saying it's essentially a Witcher copy. But even to that point, Witcher 3 won Game of the Year without having spectacular combat. I mean, let's be honest, Witcher 3, I am newer to it. I'm playing it offline, but the combat isn't anything mind-blowing, you know? It's passable, it's fine, it's good, but it's not anything crazy. You know, we like Witcher 3 for the narrative, for the cutscenes, for Geralt, you know, the world, the open world exploration. We like it for all that. The combat is not the number one thing, so it doesn't have to nail combat. I will be curious how the boss fights go, because again, all we've seen for boss fights haven't really impressed me much. But hopefully they loosen up that swordplay, like the animations behind it, and maybe make the bosses a little bit more interesting from what I've seen. But who knows? That looked like a side boss. I mean, guys, what can be said that I haven't already said? You know, the daytime and nighttime differences in gameplay, not only just being a vampire, but how you can approach missions. That's going to be really fun to sink your teeth into. Deciding which missions are important enough to burn time on, deciding which mission should be done during the day, which one should be done at night, you know, trying to use your vampiric powers and out of the public view so that you can keep your identity hidden for as long as you can, trying not to attract too much of Brent's attention as you progress through the story. I'm very excited for this game. I think this game could also be the best game I play this year. It really depends. I think right now, the best games, if you told me to guess that I'm going to play this fall, it's going to be between Phantom Blade Zero and The Blood of Dawnwalker. That would be my choice. But who knows? We never know how the year's going to go. Because I also have about 3 other games that I'm really curious about, but I'm not sure. I'll have to wait when they come out and see what people are saying and see what gameplay is looking like. But who knows? This is going to be a crazy year for gaming. It already has been a pretty good year, but it's going to get crazy in the fall. Crazy in the fall. But like I said, I'm not going to yap too much about The Blood of Dawnwalker, okay? As long as the story does have to be good, though. I will say that. The story has to be good because these are Witcher 3 directors. They know how to tell a story. The narrative has to be good, engaging, interesting. I'm not really too worried about lip sync, but the cutscenes should also be A tier minimum, in my opinion. But I think this game, I have faith in the studio. I don't really know why, probably because of the Witcher 3 experience, but I do have confidence that this studio will nail it, and we're gonna have a tough race for Game of the Year. Unless GTA 6 wins off popularity because simple-minded people want to see the game with the gun win out over other narrative-driven experiences. So, to put it bluntly, if the Game Awards appease the ball and gun gamers, then GTA 6 has already won Game of the Year before it came out. But it won't be Game of the Year to me. Anyway, that's all I gotta say, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta start editing. I gotta start doing stuff, you know, adult stuff. And I will catch you guys in the next video. See you then. And I keep it all real, keep it all stacked. Boy, better give me my racks.